Well, today is the day. In a few short hours, we will all be playing Path of Exile Expedition League. For better or worse, and despite my usual advice to not start a new skill, I'm planning on starting Poison Blade Traps. I know others have announced this as well, but I'm hoping I can bring something new to the table with my exploration of the skill. I view it as the spiritual successor to the explosive arrow Bleed Mines I played in Harvest League. My name is Brittleney, and this is another build overview. Initially, we'll level as my favorite functional meme, Lightning Trap Mines. Why Lightning Trap Mines? Well, thanks for asking, dear viewer. Shoving Lightning Trap into a mine allows for some fairly neat interactions. For one, you can double dip on Swift Assembly, as you can throw extra mines and all of those mines can throw extra traps. In this scary post-mana apocalypse, who knows what these multipliers are actually going to feel like, so free cast when we can get them feel pretty good. Similarly, you can double dip on Sabo's regen and his ascendancy, hitting that 10% cap nearly instantly. But the biggest advantage of Lightning Trap Mines is its auto-targeting. Due to Lightning Trap being a projectile and it having some sort of aiming behavior which grants the mine throwing the trap the ability to throw a trap right under the feet of your enemy as long as it's in range. This means that you can always just toss mines in front of you and you'll still kill everything around you with no need of paying attention. Once you get to Blood Aqueducts or early maps, you can start to think about transitioning to blade traps, but I wouldn't do it without having a wasp nest and either the Embalmer gloves or a source of 5 or 6 link. The Embalmers function as a 5 link since they have a support gen built into them, and wasp nests are pretty much the best in slot for this version of blade traps, considering how tricky it can be to craft a good poison weapon. So why poison anyways? One of the neat interactions when you're using damage over time mines or traps is that dot damage can only be attributed to you. This opens up an entire world of on-kill effects that is normally closed to mine and trap builds. Life gained on kill, elusive, tailwind, onslaught, phasing, all of these incredible tools are at your disposal to utilize. It's probably my favorite thing about playing dot traps or mines. The other side of this equation that works out in our favor is that the blade traps inherit your hit data, but they are not you. So things like the 120% critical strike enchant on boots will have permanent uptime, which is very valuable in this post-unlucky Diamond Flask world. In the endgame, the traps will cost 90 plus mana to throw, and that's a pretty steep mana requirement. It also really limits what auras you can use, considering you not only need 90 plus mana unreserved, you want more wiggle room to throw multiple sets of traps at once, especially when facing off against map bosses as you push into red maps. I'm planning on solving this with Diadem and Corpse Walkers. Not only will this solve my mana problems, it'll also boost my latent recovery, and with Acro, Phase Acro, Wind Dancer, and hopefully Kintsugi as well, that should help factor in some mitigation and avoidance. This will, however, put a lot of pressure on the rest of my gear slots for resistances. I don't expect this guide to be exceptionally tanky, not like other things I've published in the past, but I expect it to, with good boss knowledge and positioning, for it to be, for the most part, fairly comfy. The idea is to push him up, and if all goes well with Blade Trap, leave him at 95 or so as our dedicated bosser for the league. Then have some fun. Now, if I've managed to intrigue you and you want to know more, check the description below for the POB I've thrown together for this build. It won't have gem info in it, so take the suggestions with a grain of salt. It also includes information on leveling the Lightning Trap mines, as well as includes a Lightning Trap backup plan in case for some reason Blade Traps fall short of our collective expectations. There's a lot of information in the notes too that I took the time to type out, so don't forget that section. All in all, I'm really excited for this league and this league start, and there's going to be a lot of builds I want to explore. I think 8 total, and more being added to that list every day. And I'm going to do my best to put out build guides, or at least build updates and overviews on each of them as we go through them. And the ones that are successful, we'll try and write guides for as well. Have a wonderful league start, everyone, and stop by the stream to check out my progress on this build. I think it's going to be really fun. See you next time! Today I want to provide a build. Oh my god, are you kidding me?